So I believe that as guys, we find more fulfillment through building things, right? I think that we obsess more over things than necessarily people. And I found that building on more creative projects, things that, I can continue to put energy into and something to just generally aim at is something which just gives me the feeling of fulfillment. Although, for example, spending time with family or, even just sort of, doing more leisurely activities are nice, I think nothing actually comes close to being able to genuinely build on something. And this has changed to me over the years. Originally, about maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, I first got into entrepreneurship through effectively a B2B business. And, that was sort of lead generation and that evolved over the years. But I basically got into the wrong reasons for it. I just got into it purely for money and I came to hate it. It pretty much felt like another job or even worse than that. And in the end, I ended up pretty much quitting it for the most part. I've only got like two clients now, but the work I do for them isn't crazy either, and it works well for me. And what I've now noticed is that, well, obviously, first of all, I got on for the wrong reasons, but at least the work I'm now doing is a lot more aligned with what I'm doing. I'm building on things that are more meaningful to me. And one of the things that's most important, at least for me, which might be relevant to you, is working on creative projects, things that actually get you thinking in terms of perhaps new solutions, ways you could do things, ways you could change things and improve. And I think that can be different for everyone, right? Whether it's, for example, something like YouTube where you're thinking of how of the like topics to say. For me, I'm also making video games using AI. It's a very sort of creative and I guess, in the dark sort of thing. But that's been really, really interesting for me. And, or at least my journey with it has been just, effectively, I've been, starting here, I've been, learning this, I've been finding this new tool, and it's just been an enjoyable process. And I haven't worried so much about the outcome to things. And for me personally, I don't feel like I'm someone that really has much of a care for money as much as I think, right? I mean, sure, right? I mean, I'm not making much money at the moment, so I'd be lying to say that I wouldn't want to make more. But, when I hear people that want to make, 20K a month, 100K a month, it's like, for me, I just think, well, I don't even know what I'd do with that money, right? Because quite simply, I probably wouldn't know what to do. But what I do know is that the stuff I'm doing now, the actual process of building a game using AI and such, I'm enjoying that, right? That is fulfilling and that's something which I'm aiming towards. And I mean, at the end of this month, January, I'm going to ideally apply to get my first game out. And then once that's all sorted and I'm happy with it, I'm on to the next game, right? I'm on to thinking how can I make this game, like how can I make the second game even better, right? And obviously in that instance, I'm starting from experience and so on and so forth. But the point being is like, I'm trying to detach myself away from the outcome as much as possible. And likelihood is, at least with the stuff I'm doing, in order for me to make consistent income from my video games anyway, it's probably going to be the third or fourth game that I make where I start seeing something consistent. So at least with the venture I'm doing, it is more of a long-term game. But I think really just the last thing as well is part of it is enjoying the process because I know obviously for the B2B business that I was sort of really, working away at, and even other people which I've spoken to, is really like a lot of it is like, are you getting into, the thing that you're like the thing that you're working on for the wrong reasons, right? Do you actually have any interest, like interest or curiosity in what you're doing at all? And that was one of the things that I asked myself, when I was at the turning point of my business, basically saying, right, am I going to continue doing this or not? And I basically closed it all down, refunded all my clients, and that was that. Because I just came to realize, look, I actually hate this, right? I don't find it interesting at all. And sometimes it's important to have, or at least for me, it was important to have that conversation with myself to realize that actually we could do with, making a shift here. But let me know your thoughts on this. I think what's been really important for me is just again, like part of it is genuinely enjoying the process. Don't get me wrong, right? The stuff I do, like, well, everything has its challenges, everything still has its problems, no matter how enjoying or fulfilling that you find it. I think a lot of it comes down to, are these the problems that you want to solve? And for me, like, with the, making video games with AI, it's like I enjoy it, right? It's really rewarding. And so it's like, if I can just keep building on that, then that's cool. But yeah, I mean, if you've got a creative project or something that you're working on, or perhaps you're struggling with fulfillment, let me know your thoughts on this, and I'll chat soon.